When I completed Exodus, I found something I didn't know I was looking for, and that something was vulnerability. At the time, I had a pretty rigorous prayer life, was involved in reading scripture, working through asceticisms, be it Lent or just in general for my own development physically and psychologically. I felt like I had the ball rolling in the right direction. But that vulnerability piece as a man in the church, it seems like got missed. And where I found that vulnerability in terms of the three pillars of Exodus, which was prayer, fraternity, and asceticism, was in that fraternity. Doing that, the meetings, connecting with people, recognizing that I have a responsibility with my behavior, my prayer, my presence, my attendance, the things I say, and that those things resonate beyond the room that I'm in, the group that I'm with. I'm a representative of the Holy Catholic Church in all that I do. There's no real hiding from that anywhere in my life. And the ability to sit down and share that with other men who are wrestling with different aspects of the same thing. Some people are further along in the path. Some people are further behind. It's just all different things for different people. But just knowing you're in the same boat together with other men who are committed to saying, hey, I think there's more. I think there's more to my faith, to my role in this story of my life, to this part that I play. And Exodus is a path to get there. It's drawing people in who are ready to climb that mountain with you. And all over scripture, we find mountains like Mount Horeb for Moses and Jesus. There's the mountain where the transfiguration happened. Like all of these things happen. And I think right now in our culture, Exodus 90 is that mountain calling out to men. It called out to me to climb. And in particular, this last round of Exodus that I went through, my father, who had passed away in October from pancreatic cancer, he joined in. A lot of his things in his life were already stripped away from him. So when it came to asceticism and all these other things, I was like, I don't know, Dad, if this is the right thing for you to try. But he was game for it. And to see how my dad responded and everyone else responded, to have my dad as part of that group, accepting him in, hearing his story, and for him to be a part of that was just, I think it did a lot for his salvation as he came to the end of his life and recognizing how much he mattered. So if you're considering Exodus and you're on the fence, I hope you realize you have nothing to lose by doing this, because you can always go back to what you were doing before, which doesn't mean it was, a life of crime and sin, I hope. But you can always go back. It's worth taking the risk and looking across the table at other men who are feeling probably the same way that you're doing. What I found at the other end, I've done this 3 times, is always something unexpected happens. It's nothing that I can program. So I suppose that's what they mean by, hey, just love each other, love Jesus. And if you think about falling in love, like Exodus is a way that you do that. You're letting go. You're falling at different times. You feel like, oh my gosh, I'm letting go of all these things. I have nothing to hold on to anymore. And at the end, you realize you weren't missing much. All those things that we're letting go of are things that were either inconsequential or sometimes a distraction for us to be the type of men that we need to be in the world, for our families, for our children, and for our parishes.